Caution, the Mark Gungor Show contains adult content intended for an adult audience. And, besides that, he's really weird. Welcome to the Mark Gungor Show with international marriage speaker and author of Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage, Mark Gungor. This is your source for practical, down-to-earth marriage advice without all the over-spiritualization or romantic nonsense. And now the host of the Mark Gungor Show, Mark Gungor.
Crowd goes wild with delirious joy. They've joined the Mark Gungor Show, the show that deals with all things concerning. I am, of course, your host, the one, the only Mark Gungor. Joining me is always the ever lovely Lady Diane with a new hairdo.
That's me.
And Philip James Gungor.
With no hairdo.
With no
hairdo.
With no hairdo. Engineering, as always, the very talented but eerily creepy Timothy Robert Ray, pushing buttons, twisting knobs, and trying to stay awake during this incomprehensibly, immeasurably boring show. This is the show that handles your marital challenges, relational conundrums, and dating dilemmas that you can email to us at ask@markgungor.com. Diane says, "You don't look so fat today."
That's not what I said.
You're not as fat as you used to be.
You.
Hey, fatty, you're not as fat as you were.
That's not what I said. It's not what I said.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Mm-hmm. Hey, fat boy.
Stop. That's not what I said.
Well, it's kind of, it's what you said. Those aren't the words you used. That's what you communicated.
That is what you said.
Several times have tried to compliment you on the fact that I haven't seen you for a few weeks and you have dropped some pounds.
Hey, fat boy.
And you look good and it's noticeable, and that is a compliment. And somehow or another, you're turning it around and twisting my words.
Hey, fatty, you're not as fat as you were.
No.
Right.
It's quite remarkable.
That someone so large.
Someone so large.
Lose so much.
No.
Could get down to your side.
No.
Everybody watching this, he looks the same to me.
No,
same
no,
fat
he
guy.
doesn't. No,
Same
he
fat
doesn't.
man.
He looks different.
Anyway. All right, what do you got there,
You're
sunshine?
swimming in your jacket there.
He's just wearing larger clothes.
That's all it is. That's what you wear larger clothes and never think you lost weight.
Okay. Okay. The article today says that men who marry smart women live longer. Sorry.
So if a guy dies early, his wife was an idiot?
No.
Well, that's the other side of that.
No, maybe. Think of your ideal wife. Are brains at the top of your list when you name her best qualities?
That's what I was thinking. Hey, baby,
It's
I
your
love your
brains. Perhaps they should be. New research suggests that having a brainy bride may extend your life and ward off dementia. The thing a boy is never told he needs to do if he wants to live longer, but what he should do is marry an intelligent woman. There is no better buffer to dementia than intelligence. The research study done by the University of Aberdeen examined
how do they
the health of identical.
Like
listen, I'm going to tell you if you listen.
All right.
Studied the health of identical twins and found having an intelligent wife was an important factor in protecting against degenerative disease. They determined that men who choose to marry smart women live longer and happier lives and are less likely to suffer from Alzheimer's disease and dementia.
Well, it has to be more than just that they're smart. Is it because he engages in conversation with her or what?
Yes.
I mean, you can have a quiet genius and still die.
It says...
Because it doesn't do you any good because you're not talking to them.
It says past research found that intellectually challenging games such as crossword puzzles can help ward off dementia and Alzheimer's by stimulating the brain. So it would make sense that a wife who engages and challenges her husband's mental faculties could benefit him in the same way.
My wife challenges my
mental
fat
faculties.
guys, what are you doing now?
Shockingly, some men who were married to these clever women even showed physical signs of dementia in the brain scans, but didn't suffer from any symptoms of the disease. In fact, they were determined to be highly intelligent and fully functional.
Wow.
Encouraging both men and women to value a female's brains over her beauty is a tricky business.
Oh, but just in general, to have your brain stimulated.
Yes.
And not just with shock therapy. Stimulate my brain. All right. Well, there you go, boys. As if this wasn't challenging enough, now you got to find one that's really smart.
And then if you're really lucky and you know me, you get both. You get brains and beauty. So there you have it.
Yeah. The new hairdo's gone to her brain already. All right. We will take a break and be back with your emails right after this.
Attend Mark's Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage event. Visit laughyourway.com for upcoming dates and locations.
Hi, Mark Gungor here, talking to you about our T1 program that we have here at our church at Celebration Church in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It is a transition year program for young people before they go off to college. Here's the situation we have today. Young Christian kids, forget about what the secular world does for a minute. I'm talking about the Christian people, devout Christian people. They want the best for their kids. They want to honor God in their lives. The kids go through high school. The second they get out of high school, whoosh, they shove them off into college, and they never slow down. And then they're off to their careers and stuff like that. The statistics for that are very, very bad. They say, I don't know who studies this stupid stuff, but they'll say as high as 80% of the Christian kids in evangelical churches give up on their faith about 2 years into their college experience. It's an unmitigated disaster. We're all trying to figure out programs and stuff like that. How do we fix it? But here's one of the best ways we can fix it. Slow down. Slow down. You don't need to go running off to college as soon as you get out of high school. We encourage these kids to take a 1-year gap program. Now, there's several of them around the country. We have one here in Green Bay. We hope that you'll consider ours. You can go to T1. Is that just the letter T?
Transition1.org.
Transition1.org. We call it T1R. So it's transition1.org. Look at our 1-year program. What it is instead of running off to college right away, they come and take 1 year and they come to this program. Now, it's not a Bible school, but we do teach from the scriptures, try to build character, but we show them how to do life, how to make decisions, how to be leaders, how to handle money. Something you would think people used to learn. They used to learn this stuff in high school. They don't learn it anymore. They don't learn jack anymore. How to date, how to make decisions about marriage for your life, all these fundamental things. And we breathe life into these young people and teach them how to do life. At the end of the last 3 months of the program, it's a typical school year, the last 3 months, they go on a missions trip. We have various partners around the world where they go and they serve. Now, a lot of people do these mission trips, short-term mission trips. It's like a week here, 7 days here, 10 days there. And it's great that they do that seriously. And even those can be life-changing for kids. But let's be honest. It's more a vacation than a missions trip. 7 days? Are you kidding? They're just having fun flying around and seeing stuff and la, la, la. They come home. It was wonderful. I'm sure it was wonderful. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking 3 months. You're there. You're living with people. You start finding out that the whole world doesn't have Wi-Fi. Anyway, it's a great experience. The Bible says, put first the kingdom of God. Let's teach our kids that. It'll make a huge difference. Transition1.org. Program. Hey, I can't see myself. There it is. We're back. The Mark Gungor Show, talking about love, marriage, and relationships, answering your emails. What do you got?
She says, I am 57 and divorced. I have met a man through friends that was visiting from out of state. We hit it off and have continued to get to know each other 2,000 miles apart from each other. Mm-hmm. He is 56 and a widower.
Wait, I thought you said, she's 57.
She's 57 and divorced. He's 56 and a widower.
Got it.
As our relationship has progressed, sex has come up among many topics, I guess, in discussion. My view is no premarital sex. His view is that at our age, two people can be intimate without marriage. This is a...
Really? Teenagers think the same thing at their age. 30-year-olds think the same thing at their age. 92-year-olds think the same thing. It's very interesting. Yes. At our age, we should be able to fornicate.
She says this is a moot point because of our distance, but it is a question I have struggled with since my divorce. Prior to meeting this man, I had a hard time imagining ever marrying again, but I could also not imagine never having sex again. What is your view on older single people being sexually intimate outside of marriage?
The rules of morality do not change, silly girl. For heaven's sakes, the guy's a nitwit. And further, you haven't met this guy at all. You're talking to him from 2,000 miles away. Of course you'll like him. You know what? The further away I am, the more nice I am. the more people like me. I have discovered in my life, the closer I get to people, the less they like me. Apparently, I can be challenging. So I've heard.
Never
So I've
noticed
heard.
that. Never experienced that firsthand. I guess I'll have to just take your word
Never
for
experienced
it.
that, fat boy. So I mean, you don't know this guy. What are you talking about? Since we met, you haven't met anything. You're just talking to some guy 2,000 miles away. What do you? All you know at this point is that the guy has no morals. Is she a Christian woman?
I asked.
Or
She
she a
said,
heathen?
yes, we are both.
Nah, she's a heathen.
We are both followers. He goes to a Foursquare. I go to a non-denominational.
Oh, he goes to a Foursquare church. I should call his pastor so his pastor can smack him upside the head.
Yes.
Oh, for the love of Pete. Foursquare people wouldn't tolerate that. What kind of nitwit is this guy? I think we should be able to fornicate. Because the Bible that talks about fornicating and adultery, it stops at 52. Once you get past that, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, you get a waiver.
Yeah, you get a waiver.
A waiver.
A morality waiver. Oh, come on, lady. You can't possibly be this
No, careful.
lack of insightful. Is that a better word? Well, I mean, come on. He says we should be able to fornicate. Is it okay after you hit a certain age? What church does she go to?
She said non-denominational.
Okay. Well, I can't pick them because I don't know the non-denominational. That can go all over the place. I promise you the Foursquare people would not tolerate that kind of nonsense. They actually believe the Bible. So, oh, for heaven's sakes, it's just a ridiculous question. Of course the rules do not change because you hit a certain age. You know, what about the murder rule? I mean, seriously, why is it just the sex thing? How about the murder? How about, once you hit 61, hey, that's me. You can kill people with new hairdos. Maybe you could do that. Bury Diana in the backyard. Police come say, hey, back off. 61. Rules don't count.
You're going to have to see
Because
your AARP card.
What is it?
At our age,
Put
murder.
my ARP card just to prove that I'm 61 so I can kill people. How about stealing?
At our age,
If you
we
hit
can.
68, can you steal now?
Because at our age we can.
Yeah. Honestly,
You can't be
people
expected
think
to
it
not
through.
kill.
Why is it just the sex thing? See, nobody would say you can't kill at a certain age. No one says you can't steal at a certain age. No one says you can lie at a certain age. But for some reason with sex, because people just want to be immoral. We live in a culture of there are no rules. Anybody can have sex with goats, chickens, cows, frogs. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who it is, what the combination is. Everything's free, a big, what am I trying to say?
Free for all.
Free for all, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, see, I'm already losing it. So, very commonly, the answer is no. No, the rules do not change when you hit a certain age. And don't get all cut. Here, this woman's she's head over heels with this guy. She doesn't know him from Jack.
Just because they were introduced and now they've
These are the people that get married and then they go to hell. Their relationships go to hell because they've never really known each other. Now they're living with each other. Ah! Come on, guys. I mean, I'm not against internet dating, but at some point you actually have to meet the person, talk with them,
that's
interact
the problem,
with the person,
is
see
that
what
they
they're really
think
like.
that they think that they've done all of this messaging and phone
Yes.
talking and this and that, so they think they really know these people.
Well, to a degree, that's true. What you know about him is that he is an immoral man. You already know this, but you can't see it. Here's a man, by his own admission, insults his own Christian faith, going to a church that would not tolerate that kind of behavior, and he's telling right up front, I don't believe this nonsense. I think it's okay to fornicate because we're at a certain age. Anyway, we answered that, beat that to death. I'm sure you're a sweet lady.
Beat that to death.
All right, what else you
Okay,
got?
she says, my husband and I have been married for 6 years. There are a few things going on in our marriage. One is my husband has anger issues, behavior that he learned from his father. The fights have gotten worse, and he becomes very verbally abusive. He justifies his behavior when I tell him how it makes me feel. Second, he has made a new friend who is a woman. Her son used to help my husband cut grass, and he would take him to do things. They started communicating concerning her son, but now they talk a lot. We've had her and her children over many times. They have gone out to eat together without my consent. I feel like just wait. I feel like my husband has an emotional attachment. Recently, he has lied about being on the phone with her. When I confronted him, he still denies it. I have told him many times that I don't think it's a good idea that they talk so much. He has told her in the past that they shouldn't talk, but then they continue to. I know I need to have a conversation about these things, but I'm honestly, just wait.
No, wait a minute. Just wait.
Just wait.
I can't take
No, just wait.
Okay.
She says, but I'm honestly very hesitant and scared too. He hates to talk about things. He works a lot and is gone most of the time on the weekends. I feel like we need counseling for our personal issues and marital issues, but he has shot that idea down because of finances. I don't want our 2 young children growing up in a toxic home like he did. I don't want to be his puke bag, and I definitely don't want him cheating on me. I have been in prayer for weeks, and I pray that you could give me some wisdom and guidance. Is there a book or one of your DVD sets that would be good for our type of situation?
We should write a book for this kind of situation. What would you call it? I mean, come on. For heaven's sakes. He's doing things you know are bad. He's too close to this woman. You invite them over continually. He's talking inappropriately. You call him on it, and he tells you to stuff it. You don't tolerate it. But her main thing is she hits to the end. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. By the way, can I just go off the reservation here a little bit? I really don't like these people who constantly judge in the most negative of terms the way their spouse behaves and always writes it off. You're just like your father. You're just like your mother. You're just like I just spoke to a couple lately. You know, she's a fun person. He's a real,
Stodgy.
Has personality removed at birth kind of person. All right? The whole conversation. Well, it's because that's the way his dad was, and his family and her family made her that way. Stop. All they're doing is insulting each other. How about he's actually that way? And who cares why he's that way? Because of his father. There's no reason for you even to bring that up, ma'am. You should never, ever bring that up again. Don't ever talk about your husband and say, well, it's because he's like his father. It doesn't matter why he's the way he is. All you're doing is insulting his father and or insulting him. Stop it. He's a guy who apparently has anger issues. Part of it is because you don't call him on these things. He acts inappropriately. He's doing things that could be very, very bad, and you lack the courage to confront him. We don't have a book on this. Actually, I've started an outline. I guess the premise of it is the argument for confrontation and separation. Because people like this, she's doing what everybody would say. Just pray about it. When the Bible talks about confronting evil, confronting people, when the Bible says, you got someone who's doing bad things, you confront them. But the church that's the one part of the Bible they won't tolerate. They ignore all the verses about confrontation. So they tell, well, just pray about it. Well, just, hope and wish and wait. No, at some point, you definitely got to pray about it, but you need to confront people. And if you have a badly behaving spouse, be it man or woman, you need to confront them. She's afraid to confront him. And that's why he's going to keep doing it. The reason he does what he does, I want you to think this through, dear, is not because of his father. It's because of you. You let him act this way. If I don't get called, my wife calls me on stuff all the time. Hey, don't do that. Quit doing that. Too much of that. Oh, okay, I got to back off. If she didn't, I would just be a complete disaster. Complete, total disaster. I'm close enough to disaster as it is. Good night.
Walking that line pretty close.
Yeah, I do. I walk that line too close. So she calls me on it. The people who have I promise you, sweetheart, all the women who are listening to this show right now, as she's reading your email, they're all rolling their eyes. All those that have good marriages. Because I think I'd never let my husband do that. I'd never let my husband do that. You talk to strong, confident women about your situation, they would immediately say, I would never tolerate that. The difference between them and you is you tolerate it. You say it's his dad's fault. It doesn't matter. Right now, it has nothing to do with his dad. It has to do with you. You are an enabler. You give him permission. You say, well, I don't like it. I don't like it. That doesn't mean anything. You actually pave the way for him to act this way. You invite this lady who you think is a threat to your marriage into your home.
Well, she's afraid of his being angry and yelling at her. So rather than that,
does he beat her?
No, but
he just yells.
Yes, but there are people who cannot handle being yelled at.
He's probably Puerto Rican. She's afraid of just voices raised.
So rather than confront him because he's going to get mad and yell and there's going to be fireworks, so she would rather go along with just to keep the peace.
And in doing so, she's an enabler. Yes. She paves the road. The reason he's acting the way he is is because she's afraid of him. She's afraid of conflict. She is the one. It's not the father who's causing this mess, dear. You are causing it. Sadly, the book is not done yet, and I don't know. I go back and listen to 800,000 of these podcasts. You'll basically get the sense. You don't allow people to treat you that way. Doesn't mean you have to yell and scream. It doesn't matter if he yells back at you. It doesn't matter. The reality is, no, you can't see this woman anymore. And I promise you, you tell him to stop it. He won't. And then when he comes home, you're not there. You're just gone. Go stay at your mom's for a couple of days. Don't these women, nobody has friends. A lot of these women like this don't have friends. They don't.
Yeah, often you're right.
They got no place to go. They'll have no place to go. What does that tell you? That's how bad they are at relationships. They don't know how to do it. Take his credit card and go to a hotel and go to a nice spa for a couple of days. When he comes home, he'll freak out. Where are you? Where are you? And you just tell him, I told you, I'm not going to tolerate you talking to her anymore. But she won't do it. She's afraid of conflict.
She's afraid.
So all she's going to do is continue to cry about this, let him do it. Eventually, he will cheat on her. She'll tolerate it for a while. And then, I don't know what, 15, 17 years from now, then she'll break. She can't take it anymore. She'll divorce him. And then she'll feel better and justified for divorcing him. And she'll try and start all over again because she won't listen to what I'm saying. So it's sad. I'm telling you guys, the reason your spouse treats you so badly is because you let them. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.
Have a marriage dilemma? Email your questions to ask@markgungor.com, and Mark can answer them during one of our shows.
Of Jimmy Bratcher right here on the Mark Gungor Show. Okay, what do you got?
Okay, I have a question about the last email.
Okay.
We ran out of time for. So you're saying that she should confront and she's afraid and she won't.
She won't.
Would you suggest, if she's afraid of the blow up and of him being angry, that she has somebody with her to confront him? You know, whether it's a friend or...
It won't matter. They fear confrontation. She just fears... Because I will offer to people like this, well, I'll talk. No, please don't. They beg you not to talk to them. They beg. Women will come and tell me the horrible, terrible way that their husband's behaving in my own church. I said, well, I'm going to talk. No, please don't. They beg me not to talk to them. There's something wrong. There's a chromosome missing somewhere. I don't know what the deal is. But here's the...
I think there's a chromosome missing. For the love.
Here's the irony of it all. Is they all eventually divorce these guys. She will eventually confront him. She will, because she'll get to a point she can't take it anymore. And it always ends in divorce. Because they won't confront while they still care. Now is her chance to save her marriage, but she won't do it. She will wait until she can't take it anymore. She divorces him, and then she starts over again. And then through the pain of the divorce and all there's no reason. It's not like they're never going to. See, if they just never did, I could, okay, that's the way it is. They'll never do it. What drives me crazy, and I tell you this all the time, is they eventually do it. They eventually all get to the place. Just talked to someone recently. Wouldn't do it. Boom! On the verge of divorce, walked out, just can't take it anymore. Why didn't you do it sooner? Well, I know you say that, but they don't listen. I don't understand. They wait until they don't care or they can't breathe. They break inside, and then they finally confront.
That's when they finally have the guts to do it.
I know, and here's the irony. The guy is begging for her to come back. I'll do anything. I will change anything. She could have done that 8 years ago. When he still cared.
So what is that you don't have the ability to do anything about it until you just don't care?
They probably want him just to change. Want him to want him.
I don't know. What is that? I don't know. Why won't they do it while they still care? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Because they don't care about the consequences at that point, I guess.
I don't know. Is it fear? But at that point, they're not fearful anymore. Feels right. They want them to want to change. Yeah, you know. They're looking for words, the right words. Their little witches coven, you know. Oops. I have snoot and wing of bat. How dare you say that I'm so fat? All these girls, you know, what can I say? That is a version. I'm telling you. They hate it when I say this. It is a version of witchcraft. You know what witchcraft is? Witchcraft is coming up with the right words and incantations to control the behavior of someone else. That is witchcraft. For women to sit around, what can I say? What can I say? Is a version of witchcraft. It's like they're all sitting around.
No, it is not. They're not sitting around doing that.
You tell them what to do, they won't do it. They want the words. They're looking for the words. It doesn't work. I don't know. She's going to leave them eventually. Give her a few years. We'll be back after this.
Caution, the Mark Gungor Show contains adult content intended for an adult audience.
We are back on the Mark Gungor Show. What do you got?
Excuse me. Guy writing, he says, stop. I've been married for almost 8 years with 2 amazing kids, 6 and 3. He wants to know, do we have to force or establish the habit of daily family Bible study?
Okay, wait a minute. I wasn't listening to a word you said.
Why?
I was still giggling for the way you cleared your throat. Okay, go ahead. Hairball.
I did it ever so gently, and then you had to call all his attention to it. For heaven's sake.
Hairball. All right, start over again.
He says, I've been married for almost 8 years with 2 amazing children, 6 and 3. They're 6 and 3, okay?
Okay.
He wants to know, do we have to force or establish the habit of daily family Bible study and prayer? The wife has blamed me for the fact that I didn't have this natural instinct of pushing them to sit down and do this as a family. I've never had this habit in my parents' house, only observed them doing it individually, prayer and Bible study. He says, I should thank you because since we heard about you, heard about you talking, I'm reading over a mistake in his sentence, about the concepts of the head and spiritual leader of the home, when you talk about that. She's finally stopped nagging me about it and gone easy on this topic with me. However, she still has the desire to create this family habit. So what do you think that is his responsibility?
Yeah, you should do it. You force yourself to do it. What kind of a goofy question is that? Boy, I'm an angry elf today.
No.
I'm just angry. I'm angry at everybody. What's my problem? I've lost too much weight. I need to get fatter again. Then I was a mean fat guy.
Yeah, now you're just a skinny fat. Or
wait a minute.
Guy.
Stop.
No. But should he do it? No. Listen.
He said
he wants to know, should he be the one to do it? Because right now she's doing it. Like she reads the Bible studies and she prays and does with the kids. Should he do it?
I think he should. Well, I thought you said he doesn't have to be spiritual. It's not about being spiritual. It's just being a man. Grow a pair. Sit down with your kid. What are you doing? You're sitting off in the corner, watching TV while your wife and the kids are praying? Get up there and pray with them. Get a little devotion. It's so easy, you guys. Get one of these little devotionals that it opens up, it has a Bible verse, it tells a little story, and it even gives you the prayer to pray. It takes you 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I did this with the kids the whole time till they were 18, and I threw them violently out of my house. No, I didn't do that. But that's what we did. And just a little devotional. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, good night, you guys. And that's it. Or we'd make them stop. All your friends, come over here. We'd make their friends come. They'd come sit on our bed. We just have 17 years of age. We do it, da-da-da-da. And it's so simple. I don't know. Do I force? But read it again. How does he say it? Do I force?
Do we have to force or establish? Do we have to force or establish the habit?
See, it doesn't say about his wife doing it. He says, do we force the habit of doing it? It's him.
Don't you have to force anything you want to be a habit?
Yes, anything that you want to happen, you got to make happen. What is it? See, it's a goofy question. That's why I'm back to it. What a goofy question. This should happen. Should we force it? No.
He says that we don't do it as a family, that she's doing it.
You should wait for angels to come and carry you off into the sunset, and they'll do it for you. Should we force this habit? The answer is yes. This is how you get it to be a habit. That's why I think it's a goofy question.
Okay, and so should he be the one to have to do it?
I think he should. That's not the question, though. The question is.
It kind of is. I mean, it's a really convoluted, there's a lot of stuff here, so just will you listen? And okay, so now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If she was the
Riddle
one
me this, Batman.
writing the email and saying, my husband should be the leader, he should be doing this, what would you say to her?
I would ask him to do it. I wouldn't force him. If he didn't want to do it, I would have her do it without him. But he's the man right here. He's the one saying, should I do this? Yes. The answer is you should. If a woman's married to a guy who's just not spiritual or doesn't want spiritual things, even though she believes he's a Christian, whatever that means to people, or if he's a flat-out heathen, you can still have a great marriage with an unbeliever, the Bible says so,
Yeah.
then yes, the woman would just stand up and do it. Who does it isn't really the issue. The issue is, he says, should we force this? Yes, you guys should. And I think he should, as the guy, do it. It's not that hard. Go get it. Go to a Christian bookstore. Just look for these little devotionals. They don't cost hardly anything. It's very simple. You don't have to think. It's completely brain dead. You open it up. You read, da-da-da. You got a short little story. Oh, that's kind of cute. Okay, let's pray. Lord, I pray today, blah, 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 blah. And that's it.
When my kids were little, we always did it after supper because we were all sitting at the table.
I don't care when you do it.
I know some people do it at bedtime, different, whatever. But after supper, when you're all sitting there anyway, it was just a few minutes. It didn't take long at all.
That's
And
the other
when we
thing.
did
It doesn't. I think some guys fear this because they think it has to take this really long time.
Well, not especially when they're 3 and 6. It's just a
Actually,
very.
I think the most negative thing is if you make it a long thing. It should be very short. It should be very short and to the point. Most of these little devotionals you can read in under 30 seconds. So let's say we go a whole minute. Wow. So you just take a minute or two, you do this thing, and that's all you got to do. But the question is, she prays by herself, my parents pray by themselves. Should we do this as a habit? Yes. For your family, you should do it. Absolutely. And you make yourself do it. Doesn't mean you beat anyone. It's just a little strange about the word force. What does that mean, we force the habit? You make yourselves do it. That's what makes a habit, as my son pointed out. All right.
Okay. She says, my husband of 12 years told me when we were first together that he had a problem with porn. 4.5 years and 2 kids later, he told me the struggle was current. He has made half-hearted attempts to work on the problem, the Setting Captives Free website, Bible study, mentoring, a couple of attempts on both of our parts, which we found not helpful at all, she says. And he's partly read that thing about the new drug. There's a book out about that. They call pornography the new drug.
Okay.
Have you heard about that? Anyway, so he's read that. The issue is the elephant in the room, and I hate it, she says. I occasionally bring it up, and he always says that he wants to deal with other issues first. For example, finances. Ahead of that. She says, we are Christians. We knew each other for 18 months before we got together, and we're married after we'd only been dating together for 6 months. I asked her if she's given him an ultimatum, me or the porn. She says no. And I asked, have you talked to your pastor? What does he say? And she said no, she hasn't. She said, I worry about the effect on the kids if we would end up.
Fear. Always fear. This is what makes them enablers. You notice the other lady. Fear. I'm afraid. This is why you girls won't confront. You're hoping that I will give you the magic witch's potion. Say this to him and it'll go away. If you just say la la bala hula mala mula hala bula, that it will change. No, the only thing that will change it is confrontation. Absolutely. Not screaming and yelling and stuff, just laying down the rule. Look, it's me or the porn. You got to decide. I'm going to go live with my mom for a few months, and you let me know when you want to take this seriously. That's exactly how you change it. And there's people who disagree with this, then write them. Focus on the family. I don't know what they'll tell you. I mean, what else? What else do you think changes something like this? People do stuff. Let me put it this way. It's an extreme thing. These guys say they can't stop. I think Phil told us a story once. He saw on a show where they actually did this, where they cut off the guy's fingers. If your husband cut off a finger every time he masturbated and looked at porn, but she'd stop. Now you're saying there's some show where the guy wouldn't stop and they cut him all off? Oh, is that?
I think they cut him all off, yeah. Or no, they
That's
just left
ridiculous.
his index finger so he could still type.
Ridiculous.
The thing is, if you cut off a toe every time, I bet you. See, all these people say, I can't stop. It's just the price is never high enough.
Right.
If every time
If
they did
he
it,
knew he was going to lose his wife,
if he knew he was going to lose his toe, he'd stop.
well,
I'm serious.
they're probably not going to be cutting off digits.
I'm just be careful how you say that.
Digits.
I know, I got to just saying, be careful.
We'll explain it to you on the break.
Yeah, we'll go through it. The reality is there's no cost. All these guys who say, I can't, I really want to stop, but I can't. The only reason they can't is there's no price. The price is never high enough. They do it, nothing changes. Nothing changes. Oh, they feel guilty. That's about it. There's no change. If there was a price, I'm not saying cut people's hands or feet or any other digits off. I'm saying if that were to happen, I promise you, they'd stop. If every time a guy looked at porn and whacked off, and they whacked off his finger, about 1 or 2 times, he'd stop. I bet you just the threat of the first one he would stop. If he knew for sure this was going to be an absolute consequence.
Well, I would like to keep my fingers.
Yeah, everybody, right? So I'm just saying, he does this because there is no price to be paid. The price that is more realistic, not cutting off things, is you lay an ultimatum. But you won't because you're fearful and you're afraid. So what you're going to do is you're going to stay because she's afraid of her kids or whatever, okay?
Yeah.
So she's going to stay until the kids graduate, and then her heart's going to be broken, and eventually she's going to leave this man. She will snap. I promise all you guys. It's exactly what happens. Everybody knows people like this. They wait until they don't care. Right now, she cares just enough she won't confront him. She will. Listen to me, sweetheart. Eventually, you will leave that man. You will end in divorce. And as soon as you leave him, you know what? He'll come. He will cry. He will beg. He promises. He'll go to counseling. He'll do anything to get you back. And you know what you're going to say? It's too late. I don't care. How about you take that and do that now while you still care? It's not that these women won't do it. That's not my issue. It's when they do it. Mm-hmm. They wait till they don't care. Why can't they do it while they still care? Because they're fearful. And she'll wait until at some point she'll be so broken on the inside she won't care anymore. Because
the anger outweighs the fear.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The fear goes away because they don't care anymore. You fear when you're afraid of losing something. When you don't care, you don't care if you lose it. Mm-hmm. Hence, fear leaves. Hence, they confront their husbands. Mm-hmm. The husbands always buckle, as I predict, but by this time they don't care. So I don't know. There's no easy answer for this. Again, the problem is, you guys, and it's most of the women that write to the show, but men as well. I see men who do this. They let their wives do all kinds of unbelievable stuff. Mm-hmm. And they wonder why. Because you let them. That's what, they're looking for some other answer. Mm-hmm. There is no other answer. You create an environment for them to freely do the bad things they're doing. People in good marriages know exactly what I'm talking about because they would never tolerate it. No way. They won't tolerate it. You girls, in this particular situation with this thing, you do. Guys who have the same problem, they do. And I know everybody's looking for some other magic words I can come up with. No, there's no magic words. So anyway, that's all I got to say about it. I just repeat myself over and over again. It's like I got two answers to everything. I don't know, why is it so hard to comprehend this? I don't get it. Apparently, I'm the only guy in the world talking about this. That's my only answer. I don't know. Everybody else, well, say this and try this and watch the War Room and pray day and night and try this. And what they all avoid, because they think they're being biblical, they're avoiding the biblical part of it that says you confront someone. Jesus says you got someone who's acting really bad, you get 1, 2, 3, you get in his face. If he doesn't, you throw him out. When was the last church that ever did that?
Well, that's why I ask, is it helpful to have someone with you to confront it? Would that make it easier for them? Would they be able to pull that off?
I don't think it will, because I'm telling you, my experience is, if I knew this lady right now and said, I will talk to him, she would beg me not to. Because they're afraid. They're all afraid. I just had a lady just recently, same thing. Tell me this, I said, I'm going to get in his face. Oh, please.
No, I'm not talking about you doing the confrontation. Her doing it
would
but
be
somebody
anybody
there.
No, it's not just me. I'm just saying anybody.
That's what I mean. Not somebody confronting it for her.
You can
somebody
try
doing
that.
it with her.
You can try that. I'm telling you, they'll say no. Try it. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. I got my pastor. Her pastor doesn't even know about this.
I know.
That's my point. Why doesn't her pastor know about this? She's afraid. The only people she's ever told this to, maybe some friends, who know they won't confront anything. Mm-hmm. They play this safety game. A game just, everything is geared to avoid a confrontation. What can I do other than confrontation to make this change? And what I'm telling you, there is no other. But what about the Bible? The Bible teaches us confrontation. What did Paul? Remember Paul, they write, I'm going over here, but the guy is having sex with his mother-in-law or mom or whatever the heck was going on, stepmom. Paul says, throw him out of the church. Confront him. Do you know how few people would say that today? They would say, no, let's go into the war room. Let's do this. Let's have this. Let's get together. Let's find these words to say to the guy. They'll try, They won't do it. They won't do it. What they don't understand is confrontation, not evil, harsh, stabbing someone to death confrontation. I'm talking about just healthy confrontation where there is a cost is a biblical concept. Jesus talked about it. Paul talked about it. It is very clear. The Old Testament is replete with it. But as long as Christians are afraid of any kind of confrontation, they think somehow that is evil and bad, all you're going to do is continue to empower very badly behaving people. Anyway, let's take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.
Download your free Mark Gungor app today to see all of the latest from the world of Mark Gungor.
We're back on the Mark Gungor Show. Mark, Diane, and Phil. So Phil found this on the internet. read this.
Yeah. No matter what I was, I'll ignore the part of what I was searching, but as you were talking about that, I was internally laughing. I'm like, wonder if there are like masturbatory devices.
Yes.
So I found one that
that's what you would rather. See, these people would rather have some magic. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how desperate people are to try and find a cure instead of
yes. So outside the torturous ones, this one I found humorous. It says in 1837, a health food nut preached sermons about the dangers of masturbation and soon invented a cracker to help ward off those dangers. If you ate your cracker in the morning, the blandness of the cracker was supposed to lower your lust all day so that you would not have vital fluid expending urges. That man's name was Sylvester Graham, and his cracker, the Graham cracker, is an anti-masturbation practice many of us still use today.
Are you hearing this, people? The Graham cracker was invented to stop masturbating.
Yes.
And then you told me the cornflakes was the same thing. A guy in a sanitarium or something came up with the idea of, because they all believe that spicy food is what caused it. Mm-hmm. But
so the more bland your diet.
No wonder Mexicans are so wound up.
Arriba!
Andale! So, So that was their answer. I never heard this.
I can't believe you've never heard that.
You knew this.
Yes, I had
graham
heard that.
cracker.
How do you
eat a graham cracker without thinking about masturbating now?
This is the girl who's done an awful lot of research on all of these topics for the last 14 years, so I came upon it somewhere.
The graham cracker.
In fact, I think I told you a long time ago.
with them.
Okay, so this last lady, either confront your husband and say, it's me or the porn, or give him graham crackers.
Stop.
Make them lots of really bland foods.
Stop.
That's what they want. They want that simple answer. Everybody's looking for the simple answer. Nobody wants the real answer, which is there's got to be a price to it. Now, there's some people, they won't stop even if the price gets really high.
Right, because they really have a serious issue.
I mean, that can happen. There's people who literally probably would lose their fingers. They wouldn't care. They can't stop. More like a heroin addict. I just don't think that, despite what people are saying, it's the same as heroin. I don't think porn is at that level. But at some point, he's got to pay a price. And he needs to choose, quite frankly. The porn, what do you...
That is just one thing. I don't understand women. I mean, my whole entire life have never had the tolerance for that. That is one thing there might be other things I have a hard time confronting, but this would not be one of them. This is so black and white and so cut and dry.
Oh, my goodness.
I would never stand for this one.
And the women who have husbands that never do it are women like that. All you women who have husbands do it are like this lady. That's why at some point I say they do it because you let them. You allow them. You give a highway for it. You become an enabler for the behavior by not laying down the law. And it is that simple. People don't think it's that simple, but it's what I think. Shows about what I think. We'll take a break and be back with our final segment right after this.
Want more of Mark? Visit markgungor.com. There you will find everything that Mark has to offer.
I've grown to love these rainy days.
Back on the Mark Gungor Show. What do you got?
This is a pretty short question. I'm not sure what your answer will be. Okay. She wants to know, I just wanted to ask you, what do women really want from men? I've watched your show on sex, and what it means that men really want from women is sex, So she wants to ask you the opposite of that. What do women want from men?
They want to be loved. They want to be chosen. They want to be that special someone in his life. That exclusive girl for him. She doesn't want to be one of many. She wants to be the one.
The one.
Exactly.
She wants to be it.
That's right, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
there you go. I want to be it.
That's it.
No mas. Just me, baby.
Number one.
Unless you're into, what's the word? Polygamous?
Polygamy.
Polygamy.
Yeah.
Apparently they don't have a problem being more than one. Not sure what that's
Which is
about.
so weird. I think that there's something that's got to be off in your head as a woman that you're okay with that.
Well, unless you're brought up in a culture that makes you comfortable with the concept. I could get that. I mean, from the time you're a little girl, I mean, you were raised and
This
there
is
was
just the
5
norm.
women in your house and everybody
I
did that,
suppose.
and
I
You
suppose.
probably wouldn't think much about it, you know. Generally speaking, I would say that's not a win for most guys. Hey, you want me number 3? Probably not. Although it wouldn't survive. I predicted for many years that we will get to the point where that will start happening in this country because there are so many women who cannot find a man
I don't think so.
for a variety of reasons.
I hope I'm around long enough to tell you, see, you were wrong.
Because
Because I don't think so.
It's going to happen.
I don't think so. I don't think that there's that great number of women who,
There may not be a great number.
I mean,
Because if you stop and think about it, I mean, even in countries where they allow it,
No.
it's really not even the norm. The norm is always
yeah.
just one.
I think that in their hearts, women do not want to share him. I mean, I think there's some odd people and weirdness out there, but it would never become a significant number of women that are willing to settle for that. Honestly,
Anyway, it'll be interesting.
don't think so. Don't think so.
It will be interesting. Anyway, waiting for the clock here.
That's it.
'Cause there's not enough
Usually, you
time.
have no trouble blathering to fill. To fill time.
What do you want to say
Ain't
now?
that
I got nothing else to say.
So, what's your weight goal here, sir? How many more pounds?
300.
300.
I want to lose 300 pounds in total,
No,
and I'll disappear.
you don't even weigh 300 pounds.
I know, I didn't. I was 175, now I'm 160. So,
That's good.
You should add more so you can lose more.
add
It's more
more.
impressive. You should like get up to 250 first, so you can lose like 100 pounds.
Yeah, and then I can be on TV.
So, how much more you want to lose?
I'm not really thinking about it. I wasn't trying for any particular number at
Oh,
all.
okay.
I was just trying to quit eating so much. Because I was having all kinds of health issues. Everything was aching and moaning and groaning. And I feel a lot better.
15 pounds makes a
And
difference.
I wasn't really that big of a person to start with. I don't know how people that get really big, how they deal with all the health issues to it. Anyway. All right. We'll see you next show. Bye.
Bye bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.